Hey everybody, this is JMPLGT4, and I'm about to give you my Big 12 South overall rankings for the Big 12 2010 season. We started off by going with OU. I'm gonna have OU, A&M in tandem this year. I think basically the Big 12 South is gonna come down to that game against OU and A&M, who I think might win. So looking at the schedule, I'm going to go through this fast. I already made 2 videos and ran over the time, so making one more. By looking at the schedule, I see 4 games that are potential, 3 games, I apologize, that are potential losses in Florida State, Texas, and Texas A&M. The experts are saying that they think A&M will beat Oklahoma this year at College Station. I don't think that's far-fetched. I don't think it's far-fetched for them to lose against Texas. I don't think it's far-fetched for them to lose against Florida State. It'll be interesting to see what Jimbo Fisher, new head coach of Florida State, has in store for the OU Sooners Week 2. Of course, the OU-Texas matchup is always a big one. For the Red River rivalry and Texas A&M. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Big 12 South this year. So I think they might make some waves with Oklahoma. I think what it's come down to, as far as the Oklahoma-Texas game, is come down to defense. It's going to come down to special teams, who can defend the other better, and who might be able to wreak some havoc on special teams. Now, I don't think in the Big 12, much less the country, there's anybody who can really stack up to A&M's offense. What that game against OU and A&M is going to really boil down to is who can play the better defensive game. I know last year OU slaughtered us. I don't see that happening again this year. I hope it doesn't happen this year. So I'm going to give OU. There's another one in there I'm going to just throw in right quick. Cincinnati. I don't know how they're doing this year. I don't know. I think they were good a couple of years ago, maybe last year. If they're any good, maybe they'll cause some trouble for OU. I have no clue as far as that game's concerned. But just thought I'd throw that in there and mention it if it's worth anything to anybody. So I'm looking at, worst case for OU is they lose 3 games against Florida State, Texas, and Texas A&M. Best case, they win all of those games and go undefeated on the year. So 9-3, worst case, 12-0. Best case is what I'm looking at here. I guess let's move on to Texas A&M. It's my next team that I got. We got 4 top 25 ranked teams scheduled in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Baylor. Out of those, the 2 most winnable, I think, are going to be Nebraska and Texas. The most losable are going to be Arkansas and Oklahoma. Arkansas games can really come down to who has the more explosive offense and who can defend the other best on defense. Both teams have an explosive offense. Gerard Johnson behind the reins for the Aggies and Ryan Mallett over at Arkansas. That's what I think is going to be the deciding factor against that game. I do think it's a winnable game for A&M. At the same time, I think it's a losable game. Oklahoma, I just talked about that. And the other one is going to come down to if A&M can simply defend the ball and not do stupid stuff on special teams. A&M in Nebraska, I don't think they can. If we got any better on defense than we did last year, I don't think Nebraska is going to be able to put up offensive production to compare with A&M's during that game. So I say we win that game. And then Texas, kind of the same thing. I don't think they can replicate the numbers that Colt McCoy put up with his feet in the defeat against A&M last year. I don't see it happening, so I'm going to say that we beat Texas this year at Austin. Just kind of have to see what happens. So realistic, let's say worst case, we lose all 4. We go 8-4. I'm going to say potentially, I say we go 10-2. And best case is we win all 4 of those games. We go 12-0. That's where I'm at with Texas A&M. Let's move on to Texas right quick. See what they got in store. They got a 4-week crazy matchups with Texas Tech, UCLA, Oklahoma, Nebraska. I know people are saying Texas Tech, UCLA. What are you talking about, man? Texas Tech, they have some bad blood from a couple of years back when between Texas Tech and Texas whenever Texas beat them. The last play of the game or something like that, Des Bryant caught a pass and beat them. I think there's still some bad blood, and although Tech is probably not going to really be a big force to be mentioned with this year, to be reckoned with this year, I still think that's going to be an interesting game. Same thing with UCLA. I don't really know much about UCLA's program, but I have heard some good things about Rick Neuheisel's team up over in Los Angeles. We'll just have to play that one by ear as well. Out of all of them, I think UCLA is probably the best chance Texas has against winning. Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma gets it done against Texas this year. Experts say that's incorrect, that Texas is going to beat Oklahoma. I think it's the other way around. And Nebraska, I want to say that there are a lot of pissed off Cornhuskers up in Lincoln right now, and I think they would love to get some revenge at home the last year that Nebraska is going to be in the Big 12. I say Nebraska wins that game. So, and then of course followed by Texas A&M's game on Thanksgiving Day. Potentially, I think they have a chance to go 7-5. I'm not gonna say potentially. Worst case, 7-5. Best case, I mean, all those are winnable games as well. So, 12-0, best case, 7-5, worst case for the Longhorns this year. Move on to Oklahoma State. They have 3 top 10 ranked teams, with the exclusion of Texas A&M not being one of those this year. I think they got 4 losable games, possibly 5, depends on how good Texas Tech's going to match up to them this year. Yeah, I think their loss of Zach Robinson, Des Bryant is going to be huge for this Oklahoma State team. I think potentially they have a chance to lose all those games. It's a very good possibility. Say worst case they go 7-5. Best case I'm going to say 9-3. Best case I'm going to say 9-3, and that's being generous, I think. Move on to Texas Tech. Looking at their schedule right quick, they only have 2 top 10 ranked teams, 2 top 25 ranked teams preseason playing against the Red Raiders this year in Texas and Oklahoma. But you might have some people who might wreak some havoc with them. But like I just stated a second ago, Oklahoma State, I think A&M is going to beat Texas Tech this year at College Station. And then they have the very last game of the year against Houston, which last year Houston mopped the floor with those guys. So I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. Look at it a little bit more granular. I think Texas is going to beat Texas Tech. I think Oklahoma State has the potential to beat Texas Tech. I think we're going to beat Texas Tech. A&M is. I think Oklahoma is going to beat Texas Tech, and Houston. That's just going to be an interesting game to watch. So worst case is 7-5. Best case, I'm going to say 9-3 for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Moving on to Baylor. Looking at their schedule, they have 3 top 10 ranked teams in TCU, Texas, and Oklahoma, with the exclusion of Texas A&M and a couple of other Big 12 schools. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State have been typically ranked somewhere in the top 25 at least certain points during the year, the last couple of seasons. I think they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losable games this year in Baylor. I'm going to say worst case scenario they go 6-6. Best case I say they go 9-3. But that's being really generous. I think realistically they go 8-4 with wins over Tech and Oklahoma State. But I really don't see that happening. I'm going to say more so they're going to go 6-6. That's all I got for now. This is JMPL GT4. Gig 'em, saw 'em off, leave room forever. See you later.